Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving into an ingredient that's visually just stunning and so intensely flavored. It really stops chefs in their tracks. The Carabinero shrimp, you hear called the Red Devil sometimes, or the Great Red Spiny Shrimp, which I believe is Büyük Kırmızı Dikenli Karides in Turkish. Anyway, seriously high-end seafood. And kind of controversial, too.
Oh, it's spectacular. I mean, that deep red color, even when it's raw, that's pretty rare for shrimp.
Right.
But yeah, you hit the nail on the head with controversy because the main flavor source, the reason it costs so much, it's actually not the tail meat.
Exactly. And that's our mission today, really, to figure out why it's such a luxury. And to do that, yeah, we need to look inside the head. We're talking about the miso.
The miso, yeah.
So we're going to explore how two really different ways of cooking, this ultimate shrimp bowl, the ibidan, and then a traditional Japanese New Year's thing, the osechi, how they handle this one precious component.
And that sets it up perfectly. Because the miso isn't just, guts. It's this concentrated, super flavorful, nutrient-dense paste.
Wow.
It's even been called the king of shrimp miso. When you hear that, well, you know it's something special.
The king of miso. Okay, that's quite a title. Especially since, well, structurally, our sources say it looks surprisingly brain-like.
It does have that appearance.
So let's spend a moment just establishing how intense, maybe even challenging, this king really is, in its raw state.
Raw is definitely where the challenge is. The flavor is, well, it's profound, complex, aggressive, even. Yeah. It has what the source material calls burukluzu, which is this Turkish term for a unique kind of astringency or bitterness.
Okay.
And often it has this really potent smell too, deeply wet seaweed.
Right. So this isn't a flavor for just anyone starting out. You need a specific palate, I guess. One that actually seeks out that kind of raw, powerful, deep ocean taste.
Exactly. If a chef uses the miso without, really changing it, they're basically serving that astringency. You have to want that.
And that leads right into preparation, doesn't it? It starts with really careful cleaning.
Meticulous. You can't just wing it. Especially with luxury food, the aesthetics demand technique.
Yeah, I read the source advises against just pulling the head off by hand. Why use a knife? What's the point if you're taking the insides out anyway?
It's about being precise. And, well, presentation matters. Pulling leaves a ragged edge. A knife. Clean, straight cut.
Oh, okay.
Even if you scoop the miso out later, that clean break just signals quality. Respect for the ingredient, especially if it's for, say, sashimi or a really high-end bowl.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that attention to detail goes for the insides, too. We have to mention the stomach.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Diagonally from the mouth, there's this red stomach. Carabineros are scavengers, so that stomach can have leftover feed or even find sand. Not pleasant. So if you're serving the miso or eating it straight from the shell, you have to remove that stomach. Or at least know exactly where it is. It's just quality control.
The unglamorous part, but essential. Okay, and what about the body? Any tricks for cleaning the tail?
Yeah, there's a neat little efficiency tip in the sources. When you're cleaning the body, apparently if you remove the tail segment first, it helps the dorsal vein, that's the circle called damara, come out much more easily.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, often in one piece. Saves time, make sure you get all of the digestive tract. It's those little bits of surgical precision that elevate the final dish.
Great tip. Okay, so we've established the raw king of miso is challenging, maybe aggressive, needs careful handling. So how do chefs take this flavor bomb and use it in two totally different meals? Let's start with that ultimate Carabinero ibidan. That one needs a big transformation.
Right. This method is all about taming that raw intensity, making it creamy, something almost everyone would like. And it starts with the base, the rice, the sumeshi, the vinegared rice. It was apparently specifically tailored to balance the richness of the miso that comes later.
Tailored how?
Oh.
The source said it used red and white vinegar, but was heavy on the red vinegar and sweeter than usual. Why that mix?
Yeah, the red vinegar is key. It's made from sake leaves, so it gives this deeper, earthier umami and aroma compared to just plain white rice vinegar. Making it heavy just emphasizes that depth.
Okay.
And the sweetness, that's crucial too. It's described as a Shima-specific style rice. That little extra sweetness is basically designed to cut through the super concentrated fat and umami when you add the miso paste. It's like flavor architecture.
Flavor architecture, I like that. Okay, now the miso itself, you take this intense watery stuff, put it in a pan, good as sesame oil. Goal is to cook it into a paste. How does that transformation actually work?
Well, the main thing is concentration through evaporation. Raw miso is apparently something like 80% water.
80%. Wow.
Yeah, and that water holds all those sharp, volatile compounds, the things that make it astringent and smell like seaweed. So by heating it gently, the sesame oil helps stabilize it and carry flavor. You basically boil off that 80% water.
So you're just leaving behind the super concentrated fats, oils, umami.
Exactly, just the essence. And as it cooks down, they add a splash of soy sauce, not just for salt, but for aroma too. It adds that little something extra.
And the result sounds amazing. The source said the flavor goes from that challenging, astringent taste to incredibly milky.
That's a great description. Sounds like pure ocean essence, but creamy and approachable.
It really does. And physically, it apparently turns transparent as it cooks. And then when it cools down, it solidifies quite dramatically. Becomes this dense, thick paste. The chef mentioned that a big bowl of raw miso cooked down to just like 1/5 of its original volume. So this paste is basically pure, creamy, cooked down luxury. Much smoother, easier to eat. And then assembled beautifully, right? The paste goes over the special rice shaped like Fuji Mountain, little well in the middle for garnishes, pickled ginger, gari, shiso leaf, just a masterpiece of flavor engineering.
It's definitely the maximalist approach, isn't it? Take something challenging, manipulate it until it's purely decadent.
Totally.
Now, let's pivot. Let's look at the second preparation. This one is more about preserving tradition, which we see in the dashi marinated grilled carabinero.
Yeah.
That was meant for the osechi set.
Right. Osechi, the traditional Japanese New Year's food. That's a very formal, structured kind of meal.
Extremely formal, and it usually uses safer, more common shrimp like tiger or kuruma shrimp. Putting carabinero in there, that's pretty revolutionary, mostly because it actually keeps some of that assertive flavor the Ibidan method cooks out.
Okay, let's look at the marinade. The dashi. Sounds like another high precision technique.
Oh yeah, it was a two-step dashi. First, kombu dashi, that's kelp, steeped overnight. Then, crucially, heated very gently and the kelp taken out just before it boils.
Why is that temperature control so vital for kombu?
To stop it getting bitter. If kombu boils, it releases these slimy compounds that cloud the dashi and make it taste kind of unpleasant, bitter. Gentle heat gets you pure umami.
Got it.
Then that pure kombu stock was combined with katsubushi dashi, that's dried bonito flakes.
So double layers of deep, clean umami. How did they season that base?
It was fortified with shiradashi white dashi sauce. They chose that because it adds flavor depth without making the color too dark. Plus, extra soy sauce, sugar, and salt. The shrimp marinated in that for a good 6 hours.
6 hours.
Yeah, then slow grilled over low heat.
Okay, here's the big contrast then. When this miso gets grilled, it stays inside the shell. How does being contained like that change the final flavor compared to that smooth paste we just talked about?
Right. The shell basically acts like a little natural cooking capsule. Heat still makes water evaporate, concentrating the flavor, definitely. But the miso is also exposed to the direct smoke and heat inside its own container. This process gives it a darker, denser texture. And crucially, it keeps more of that characteristic astringency and that assertive seaweed smell.
So if the Ibidan paste is aiming for, like, universal appeal, the grilled osechi version is more for the connoisseur. Someone who actually appreciates that inherent, maybe challenging, raw flavor.
Exactly. It's an acquired taste that's intentionally preserved. It's flavor that's respected, maybe, rather than radically changed.
Speaking of respect,
Yeah.
let's tie this into the ultimate luxury context. The osechi set itself. This carabinero was the star of the 2026 Umikebako, the Sea Chest, set by Kimagura Cook.
Yeah, putting carabinero in that traditional format wasn't just about taste, it was a statement. The source really stressed that the main difficulty was the ingredients' super high cost.
Right.
It signals this totally elevated level of celebration, really pushing the boundaries of what a traditional Seichi box normally holds.
Let's give everyone a quick tour of this three-tiered chest, just to show the kind of luxury context this Carabinero sits in. Our Red Devil is in the first layer, right?
Yep, layer 1 is the Carabinero starter tier. You've got our dashi grilled Carabinero right there, alongside other lucky, prosperous items, big pieces of kazunoko herring roe, kanoko scallops, abiye, abalone, and that rich harasu salmon belly fat. The Carabinero is like the visual and flavor anchor.
Okay. And tier 2 sounds like pure expensive seafood.
That's where the really pricey fish are. You find kinmedai, that's goggle-eyed fish, very prized, taco, octopus, gindara, cod. And this is a nice touch of convenience, luxury, pre-cleaned tarba, king crab legs. Makes feasting easier.
Nice. Finally, tier 3, balancing all that richness.
Yeah, you need balance. This tier has the palate cleansers, the more traditional structural foods, sweet potato, those colorful three-colored dango rice dumplings, namako, sea cucumber and ponzu sauce, datemaki, the sweet egg roll, and kamaboko, fish cake. It's this whole comprehensive display where everything kind of reinforces the value of the Carabinero sitting at the heart of it.
So, bringing it all back to the miso, what does this all mean? The Carabinero shrimp is visually incredible, always that deep red. But its whole identity, its value, seems defined by the intensity of what's inside its head. The king of shrimp miso.
Yeah, and I think the real takeaway here is the power of culinary technique, of cooking technology. You see these two paths with the same really valuable component. One path evaporates the water, concentrates the oils, and completely shifts the flavor profile, right? From astringent and maybe difficult to creamy and milky for broader appeal.
And the other path, controlled grilling, keeps those volatile compounds. It holds on to the astringency, that oceanic power, appealing more to a traditional palate, someone who appreciates it as is.
Exactly. And this kind of raises an interesting question, maybe for you listening. It connects right back to that king of miso idea.
Sure.
Well, the raw form is definitely an acquired taste, maybe challenging, yet it's a luxury item because of that potential. But the form that most people would probably enjoy requires this radical transformation, boiling off 80% of it, adding oil, adding soy sauce.
So it makes you wonder, how much does our willingness to manipulate an ingredient define how we perceive its luxury? Is the real measure of a high-end ingredient its raw, maybe difficult nature? Or is it the amazing thing it can become after transformation?
Yeah. What other ingredients out there that you think of as luxurious are actually defined by some challenging part that has to be fundamentally changed before most people can fully appreciate it?
Definitely something to chew on.
Yeah.
Perhaps during your next special meal.